Welcome, guys. We are ramping up to the fantasy football season. It's getting closer and closer every single day. I am super excited. And today, I'm going to rhyme off. I'm going to run off. I'm going to give you guys 5 running back sleepers that are completely undervalued for fantasy football 2022. Now, there's 2 obvious names here you may have heard me talk about consistently. I'm going to give you guys 3 deeper sleepers that you may want to consider rostering on your teams this year because there's massive upside for these guys and they could be plug and play running backs for this season. All right, guys? So 5 fantasy football running back sleepers, and there's a lot more. And if you guys want to get all of them, get the 16-round draft solution. It is the game changer, guys. Okay, so click on the link here below on YouTube, or just Google 16-round draft solution, or go to thefantasyfootballcouch.com. Use code TUBE20. Get yourself the 16-round draft solution right now. Guys, it's like having me at the draft with you. Draft kits are dead. Draft guides are dead. Consensus rankings are dead. This is like the most practical way to get a bulletproof roster. It's going to help you guys light years ahead. It's going to put you light years ahead of the competition, guys. Get 16 rounds, and I've linked it here below, and use code TUBE20. Save yourself 20%, guys. Go do that right now. Pause the video, because honestly, I appreciate you guys absorbing the content, but literally, it's like a cheat sheet. I'm giving you everything. It's a hack to dominate fantasy football every single year. I'm literally giving you everything on a silver platter. Rookie breakout sleepers, everything. 16-round draft, so you can go use TUBE20 right now. TUBE20, save yourself 20%. All right, so let's dive into this, guys. And if you are new to the channel, I know a lot of people watch and they haven't subscribed, so make sure you guys do subscribe. This is outside the box thinking, entertaining, and I'm also doing this now. I'm going to get into story time in a second before we get to the running backs. I am actually doing a series right now, the Impact series, so I'm going to link that here below as well on all these videos because I'm interviewing beat writers from every team. And I'm telling you guys, there's so much in-depth analysis, guys, in these conversations because they're focused on that specific team. So they're going to give insight that I don't know, that you don't know, that no other fantasy football analyst knows because they're totally tapped into one team. I've got a really good overview of every single team. I'm like, if we want to use jiu-jitsu as an example, basically I think there's white, blue, I think it's like brown, purple, or purple, brown, and then there's like black, right? So I'm like a purple belt on every team, right? Like I understand every team. I'm really good at every team, but then it's like getting a black belt and talking to me about every team. That's the analogy that I use. So having a black belt talking to you about every team is going to give you that much more of an inside advantage. So I did do the Impact series, so make sure you guys check that out and subscribe to this channel because I'm releasing videos as we move forward towards the season. All right, guys? Very important messages. Now, before we get into these 5 running backs as well, I want to talk about story time real quickly. I got a good story for you. There was a video that came out with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, I think the other guy was Hamler. I call him the hamburger man. Anyway, they're dancing. I think it's like a promo video, and it looked like a TikTok. The dance looked ridiculous. And, you know, anytime a player does anything extracurricular, I make jokes, whether they're out drinking, whether they're out modeling, whatever they're doing, whether they're out riding a motorcycle, because that could cause injury. Whatever they're doing outside their life, I make a comment. So I reposted the video saying, hey, guys, you know, stop dancing like clowns, blah, blah, blah. It was on my Instagram. Go check it out at Fantasy Football Counselor. And then I got a DM, so I'll leave the DM right here, guys. Jerry Jeudy replied back to me, and he said, what do you say here? I got to pull this up here. I don't have it in front of me here, but I'm going to pull it up here on the screen for you guys to see. I had messaged him, actually, to have him come on the show to talk. This was before his legal battle stuff. He's like asking for an interview but hating, and he has his hand on his head. So obviously he got pissed off by me calling him a clown. Understandable, but anyway, just had to share that story with you guys. I just want my fantasy football players tapped in and focused before the season. No extracurricular activities. You're like, Joe, you're a little harsh. These people need to live lives. Yeah, they need to perform for fantasy football. That's what they need to do. All right, let's get to it. 5 running backs here. Let's dive into it. All right, first running back sleeper. Again, I wanted to give you guys a little more of an obvious one that I keep talking about, but I don't care if I sound like a broken record. He's sitting 17th on the consensus, on the Kinshipsis rankings in standard, but I don't talk standard, I talk PPR. In PPR, he's 14th. He's actually moved up. He was actually 19th. I'm surprised the consensus, the Kinshipsis are moving him up. The guy I'm talking about is Saquon Barkley. Now, Saquon Barkley, again, I'm going to talk about this. I'm not going to spend too much more time on it because if you see my other videos, follow my content, it's a contract year. That's all I need to say. That's all I need to say. Actually, I'm not going to say more. Contract year, make or break, do or die for his career this year for Saquon Barkley. He has to perform. Bottom line. That's number one. So he's got this this pressure, this sense of urgency that's going to be weighing down on him. He has to perform. He can't get hurt now and expect, hey, I'm going to have, my next contract extension, it's going to be a big one. No, you got to put up like top 5, top 2 numbers to get this mega contract. So Saquon Barkley, that's it. That's all. I'm going to add to this. Now they improved the O-line, which is great. Okay. He is the focal point of that offense. So when they were working in the offseason, they said, let's build a team around Saquon. He is their best player. They've done that. Okay. Another thing that's very, very important is that there's no committee. Okay. This is something that a lot of other running backs have. And when you look at any other running back committee, when you look at a guy like Nick Chubb, who's ranked ahead of him, right? When you look at other running backs that are ranked ahead of him, they've all got committees. But when you look at a guy like Saquon, he doesn't. So this is probably one of the most important factors. Matt Breida's behind him. Other than that, like, what has Matt Breida done, right? And I'm just going through other committees here. And even if you look at a guy like Chase Edmonds, which people like, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know why I like Chase Edmonds. He's got Raheem Mostert behind him. Jacobs has got Drake, and they've got rookie Zamir White, right? I'm looking at all these guys. Even a guy like Austin Eckler, who isn't a workhorse running back, they brought in Isaiah Spiller, who can be a goal line freak and a goal line vulture, all right? So, again, I'm looking at Saquon, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, that is crazy value. And I'm seeing that a guy who's in a similar position, only played 10 games in the past 2 seasons, Christian McCaffrey, is pretty much number one running back this year after Taylor. You got like Taylor, McCaffrey, and Eckler in PPR. Ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous, considering he hasn't played the past 2 years. At least Barkley played last year, and he's 2 years removed off his injury, right? It's crazy, man. I mean, I'm all over this. I think he's a sleeper. I'm getting him in the second round every single draft. So be it. If he busts, I'm getting an RB1 in the second round with massive top 2 upside. I think Saquon finishes as the number 1 running back in fantasy this year. Period. People are saying CMC could do it, and they don't sound crazy. I'm saying Barkley can do it. I got a little bit of risk. I don't got to spend first round pick on that risk. You know what I'm saying? So I go Henry Barkley, I'm loaded, right? Just an example. All right, so that's my first sleeper. Big time sleeper. Big time opportunity for him. Second guy here, again, a little more obvious, and we'll get to a couple more deeper guys here, deeper sleepers. But the guy I'm talking about is David Montgomery. David Montgomery. I just had the Chicago Bears guy on. I'm telling you, check out the Impact series where I'm breaking down, okay? I just had John on. He was a beat writer with the Chicago Bears. So we're talking Bears, and he broke down. He said that, listen, Nagy was a huge hindrance. Montgomery's going to run wild. Fields, we're still trying to figure out what Fields is going to do. And Justin Fields, again, his wide receivers aren't the great. Darnell Mooney's the wide receiver 1. Again, Mooney's good, but is he going to be good enough to distract the defenses? Now you can say, well, Joe, that's more stacked boxes for Montgomery. Very possible, but I still think he gets the volume, he gets the goal line work. And again, there's no committee there. They got Khalil Herbert there, but Khalil Herbert, like, he only came alive literally, guys, when he was hurt, when Montgomery was hurt last year. So I'm not really concerned about Herbert at all. Okay, I'm actually looking at Montgomery, and I'm seeing him sitting here 16th on the consensus in PPR. Guys, that to me is a steal on a guy who, again, has been hindered by Matt Nagy. So I'm all over it. And he's coming off second round where you're saying, well, who do I go, Barkley or Saquon? Sometimes, guys, actually, you could probably get both, because I see Montgomery falling to third sometimes, depending on how many people in the league, how many people fade him. I think we're looking at about 240 attempts minimum, 10 touchdowns and 1,200 yards for Montgomery. No committee. Love the upside. Love the value there. Okay, so that's sleeper number 2. And yes, he is a sleeper because he's got top 5 potential, top 10 potential. All right, now let's dive in a little bit deeper here. There's a ton of sleepers I'm looking at. There's so many rookies. Well, not so many, but there's quite a bit of rookies, guys, that are in positions from James Cook to Kenneth Walker, all these guys. But a guy that's really kind of just jumping out at me based on the position that he's in. Because all about, for me, when I look at these rookies come in, I take a look at what the depth chart says, okay? And the depth chart for this guy says it's clear, free and clear. But the guy I'm talking about is Dameon Pierce. Now, Dameon Pierce is sitting 50th amongst running backs. Kenneth Gainwell is ahead of Dameon Pierce, which is ludicrous. Naheem Hines, J.D. McKissick, these guys are running back 2s are sitting ahead of Dameon Pierce. Like, Dameon Pierce is in a position to absolutely thrive. Now, do I trust Davis Mills? Do I say, hey, I put my faith in Davis Mills and the Houston Texans offense? No. Brandon Cooks is the wide receiver 1 there. I'm just not sold on Davis Mills. I'm not sold on this offense in general. But I'm looking at an offense where he's going to be a plug and play. Now, they've got Marlon Mack there, Rex Burkhead. Marlon Mack years to us were not wowed, right? Dameon Pierce in college is kind of your definition of a workhorse running back. So, again, am I paying and having Dameon Pierce be my RB1? No. Is he going to be my RB2? Probably not. Is he going to be my RB3? No. RB4, 5? Sure. Absolutely. Tons of upside, plug and play, big time sleeper, could be an RB1 on his team, all right? Now, again, I'm looking at a ton of sleepers here, a ton of sleepers at running back, but I will tell you there's way more sleepers at wide receiver, okay? Now, when I'm talking sleepers at running back, these are total wild cards. Like, they're just like dart throws. This is why I say secure your running backs early so you're guaranteed that workload so that if a Dameon Pierce doesn't work out, you know, you're still good. You got your running backs. This is why you wait on wide receiver, because there's literally a lot of wide receiver sleepers, like wide receiver 1s you can get later that are primed in that position to succeed. A guy like Drake London, right? Christian Kirk, a couple sleepers there for you that are plugged in as the wide receiver 1 respectively on their team, yet they're being slept on. Do you know what I'm saying? Whereas running backs, like Dameon is slotted kind of as that running back 1, but we've got that question mark. Is he going to get the workload type thing? All right. So again, there is sleepers, but I just don't feel as confident with these running back sleepers. That's why I load up. I go top heavy on those running backs. So we're talking some fantasy football draft strategy here, guys, as well. And again, if you get the 16-round draft, which you should, right? I'm going to explain where to get these guys, optimal players, sleepers, breakouts, every round laid out for you guys. I do mock draft in there for you. Full mock draft, walking you through, holding your hand, giving you the cheat sheet, the cheat code, the hack to win this year, all right? So let's go over another running back sleeper here, and a guy that's kind of jumping out to me here as well. I'm still, I'm still questioning the situation. I want to do a 1-2 combo here for these guys. Okay, so there's 2 sleepers here. I think they're both sleepers. Atlanta Falcons running backs Cordell Patterson and his counterpart Tyler Algier, Algeir. Look him up. Tyler Algier sitting 56th. So he's kind of my main sleeper here that I'm talking about. But I also want to talk about Cordell Patterson sitting 35th amongst running backs, and Algier. Now, here's the deal. Patterson did good last year. He did good when he got the ball. He played running back, played wide receiver. He came into the league as a wide receiver. Didn't thrive well. I think he was on the Vikings. Didn't do well as a receiver. Finally found his role with Atlanta. This year, you got Mariota starting, throwing the ball. Is he going to be checking down? Is he going to be looking at Patterson out of the backfield, throwing the ball to him? That's a big question. And then you've got the potential workhorse in Tyler Algier, rookie, coming in, could be the guy. And that's where I'm just wondering, they need that workhorse. They shipped off the other running backs. There is an opportunity for this guy to really, really thrive. Tyler Algier, go take a look at some highlights on him, watch his tape, and take a look and let me know what you guys think. But Tyler Algier is in a position to really thrive as a sleeper here at the running back position, okay? And you might want to even say Patterson. You can literally stack those guys if you're desperate for a running back and you got yourself an RB1 potentially on the team if you're not sure and uncertain. I don't mind taking a flyer or just stashing Algier later and passing up on Patterson. That's what I've been doing. But again, that's up to you guys. But I still think the volume could be there, the opportunity. No one else there. I don't think Patterson's just that workhorse running back that's going to demand all that volume, okay? So the path of least resistance, I mean, Algier's got that quick path to success, all right, guys? Just something to be aware of, okay? So we talked about Dameon Pierce. We've talked about Algier. I love those guys. I'll give you guys another sleeper rookie here that's in a good position. Again, there's so many other rookies that caught my attention that are worth mentioning here, but the guy that's really kind of jumping out at me as a deep sleeper, but minimal upside, because again, there's Eckler there, but there's a chance that this guy does become the rushing guy there, depending on how he performs. The guy I'm talking about is Isaiah Spiller out of Texas A&M, 20-year-old running back. again, some people are saying he's sluggish. I think he runs violently sometimes. Like, if you got to watch his tape, right? This guy can and will be a workhorse running back. I know that the Chargers want a workhorse running back. I don't think they've got that with Austin Eckler. I really don't. Last year, he had 12 rushing touchdowns. That was an anomaly year for him because if you combine all his years before that, he had like 9 touchdowns in his entire career. He has 12 in 1 year. Not going to happen again. I'm looking for a massive regression in Austin Eckler, and I think a big part of that's going to be is that they're going to preserve Eckler, obviously, and I think that Spiller is going to come in for some goal line work. So this is something to watch. All I'm saying is that Spiller is worth a stash, okay? He's worth a bench stash with some upside. So Isaiah Spiller is another sleeper you do want to consider targeting this year. And here's a tip, guys. When I look at like late round people, I don't look at guys like James White. I always use James White as an example. Some people draft James White because he's kind of the same ADP as Dameon Pierce. They'll just reach and grab, not reach, but when they're in the draft, they'll grab a name that's familiar, like James White. I'm like, no, I'm rolling the dice on a high-end running back like Dameon Pierce. I'm not going to get myself a Darrell Williams or a Mark Ingram or a Myles Gaskin or a Samaj Perine. Like, those guys don't appeal to me. I look for the young rookies that are primed to aim high on the depth chart. Does that make sense, guys? And again, I don't really stress running back sleepers so much because, again, I'm top heavy on the running back workhorses in the earlier rounds. Again, nobody's teaching this stuff. They're just saying, hey, draft Cooper Kupp first round because he finished on top last year. Not how you're going to win your league, guys. It's just not how you're going to win your leagues, okay? Copy and paste, cookie cutters, playing it safe isn't going to win your leagues. All right, guys? So make sure you guys do subscribe. Thumbs up, get 16 rounds. Use code TUBE20. I appreciate you guys being here. If you are new to the channel, make sure you guys click that subscribe button. Stay tapped in and go check out the series I created, the Fantasy Football Impact series. Go back a couple videos. Keep going back. Dive into those team breakdowns. I'm bringing in these beat writers who want to take advantage of looking at that and getting that inside information. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Subscribe. Get 16 rounds. I'm out. We'll talk soon.